I'd like to go ahead and call this January meeting of the Retirement and Pension Board to order. The first thing I would do is read the determination of electronic meetings. A determination is needed by the board regarding electronic meetings pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order number 16, executed on March the 20th of 2020, extended by the Governor's Executive Order numbers 34, 51, 60, 65, 71, and 73, effective through 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time on February the 27th, 2021, pursuant to recommendations from the Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury, issued on March the 20th of 2020, and other applicable laws in effect. The governor's orders allow government agencies to amend or rescind portions of the Tennessee Open Meetings Act regarding electronic meetings in lieu of in-person attendance and participation. The Comptroller's office recommends that boards make a determination regarding the necessity of electronic meetings for continued functions of government agencies and to protect public health, safety, and welfare during the outbreak of COVID-19. Such determinations is to be placed on the record in the board's minutes. May I have a motion for this determination and to record this determination in the board's minutes?
So moved, Commissioner Jay.
I'll second it. Gabe Mullinax.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Jennifer, call the roll.
Mr. Caldwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Bustler,
Aye.
Commissioner Jay,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Ms. Hemmelgarn,
Aye.
Mr. Mullinax,
Aye.
and Ms. Samar.
Aye.
That's a unanimous vote, and that motion carries.
Item number 3, amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments?
I have no amendments.
Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes from December the 21st. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gabe. Is there a second?
Second, Larson.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Jennifer, call the roll.
Mr. Caldwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Bustler,
Aye.
Commissioner Jay,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Ms. Hemmelgarn,
Aye.
Mr. Mullinax,
Aye.
Ms. Samar.
Aye.
And that's a unanimous vote, and that motion carries.
Item number 5, applications for the disability benefit. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the recommendation.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Jennifer, call the roll.
Mr. Caldwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Bustler,
Aye.
Commissioner Jay,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Ms. Hemmelgarn,
Aye.
Mr. Mullinax,
Aye.
Ms. Samar.
Aye.
And that's a unanimous vote, and that motion passes.
Item number 6, applications for retirement for the defined contribution plan. Is there a motion?
So
Move
moved.
to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Bustler. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
You ready, Chris?
Go ahead and call the roll. I'm sorry. Yeah, call the roll, please.
Mr. Caldwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Bustler,
Aye.
Commissioner Jay,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Ms. Hemmelgarn,
Aye.
Mr. Mullinax,
Aye.
Ms. Samar.
Aye.
That's a unanimous vote, and that motion passes.
Item number 7, applications for retirement uniformed officers pension plan. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, Jennifer, call the roll.
Mr. Caldwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Bustler,
Aye.
Commissioner Jay,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Ms. Hemmelgarn, Ms. Hemmelgarn. Can you still hear us? Jennifer? Go to Ms. Tamar.
Aye.
Mr. Mullinax?
Aye.
Jennifer, can you hear me? Since we have a majority vote, that motion passes.
Thank you, Jennifer. Item number 8, report of executive director. I'll turn it back over to Jennifer.
Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to do is give a wrap up on our COVID distributions. As you can see in front of you on this displayed on the screen, it has the total distributions that we did for the CARES Act. And there were a total of 492 distributions that we processed from March through December. And that the CARES Act has not been extended. All of the COVID distributions ended as of December 31st. So we have not processed any in the new year. Is there any questions about those COVID distributions before I move on? So the second item that I have is regarding the election. So this Friday is the deadline to turn in completed petitions. I have emailed out to 11 employees that were interested in positions with the board. I have received 4 petitions back from the county and 1 from the schools. So we're on set for the election to take place on February the 11th. After January 29th, the deadline to turn in petitions, they do have a period where they can withdraw, and that withdrawal date would be on February the 5th. So on that date, I will have a meeting with the election committee to certify the candidates for the election process. And the last thing that I have under my, oh, I'm sorry, I've got 2 more things. So there was a question at the last board meeting regarding legal expenses. So I put together a year-to-date summary of all of our expenses through December 31st, 2020. And you can see that for legal fees, we budgeted $50,000 in extra fees for the upcoming lawsuit. We've gone over that by $36,000. I am estimating at this point, because we did not have any salary increases, we did not have as many take full advantage of the health insurance. We say, so for wages, salaries, we have some savings here. We saved $17,000 on our fiduciary insurance this year. We've been emailing a lot more than sending mail. So I think I'm going to have about $2,000 in postage savings. And then I have on here $11,000 savings, because I'm assuming at this point, we do not want to carry on with the retiree luncheon in April due to the COVID numbers. So we have a savings right now, an estimated savings that I'm estimating at $76,000. So that'll account for some of the legal fees. I talked with John, and he can kind of give an update either now or in his report about the legal proceedings. Right now, there's no in-person court proceedings, so we're not quite sure when we're going to get scheduled for our next court hearing.
That's right, Jennifer. So the Tennessee Supreme Court has extended an order that really doesn't allow for in-person proceedings. There are a few exceptions for that. We do not really meet any of those exceptions. So we're just a case that's on the docket. we have a motion that is pending right now with the court. The attorney for the taxpayers was not able, he said that he was not electronically equipped to conduct a Zoom hearing with the court. And so we are just in a hold pattern right now, and maybe for the next several months, perhaps even through this fiscal year. So no fees are being incurred at the moment. We are awaiting the court to reschedule our hearing that was postponed due to the taxpayer's attorney's request, a month and a half or so ago.
Randy, do you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Looking at your spreadsheet here, we're 36,000 over budget for legal fees. You believe you have $76,000 worth of savings in the current budget, leaves roughly a $40,000 to the plus. What are we anticipating that conclusion of this lawsuit will cost? Is it going to take more than that 40,000, or will additional funds be needed?
I wish there were a way to know that exactly, Randy, but we don't. All I can tell you is, at least from now through this fiscal year, it certainly appears like there's not going to be much, if any, activity in the lawsuit. If we ever get a grip on COVID, ever go back to live court hearings, we're able to conduct life as normal, then obviously the case would pick back up again. Like I say, we have a motion that is pending. I can't speak for the court, obviously, but you know, we're in full defense mode with our case, and you know, we intend to zealously represent the board and have been doing so. This is more or less our second go around at this with this very same matter. I would hope that the expenses won't be too much more than they currently have been, but I really just don't have any way of knowing that at this point.
With you saying this is the second go around, I would imagine that most of your preparation, research, and defense has been set in stone at this point, just waiting for a court date. Would that be fair to say, or do you think there is a lot of research and groundwork still have to be done?
We will have, of course, some preparation to be done later on. You know, once you've lived with something for so long and you have a whole lot that's already in the hopper, we have a lot of research that's already been concluded, even with the last case, but you have to renew that in your mind, if not research wise. If we go to a live court hearing, we will need to meet with our witnesses and make sure that that they are well prepared. We intend to be well prepared, and so there's a lot that's already been done, but there's still more to do, I'm sure. So it's fair to say that we have a lot of research that's completed, and we've been using that. There are different issues that come up in this case. You know, in this case, we've got res judicata that we've been trying to use to get the matter dismissed. We didn't have that in the other case as much as we do here. So being that we've been there and already done this, res judicata ought to apply. Well, then when you go to court, then the chancellor says, well, what about this and what about this? And have you thought about this? And so we end up going down other avenues, sometimes at the chancellor's request. So much has been done, but there's more to do.
Jennifer, can I jump in with a quick question?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Owings, did I hear you correctly that you've asked for the court for an online Zoom presence hearing, but the other side says they're unable to do that? Did I hear you correctly?
The court asked, we ran into a situation where the counsel for the plaintiff was unable to come to a hearing. And the court said, well, let's have a Zoom hearing. And plaintiff's counsel said that he was not equipped to do that, kind of to everyone's surprise. And we all kind of shook our heads. And so that's where that was left, that he was unable to conduct such a hearing. And quite frankly, I would like to have an in-person hearing, but at least a Zoom hearing would be better than none at all. But at this moment, we have not been invited to have a live hearing, and a Zoom hearing is not in play, given that the plaintiff's counsel is unable to do that. He is a one-person office. He may have a full-time secretary, I'm not sure, but he advised the court, and those were his words, that he was not equipped to conduct such a hearing.
Okay.
And so it wasn't done. Yeah.
One last question. Mr. Owens, does the pension board have any apparatus or way to claw back if this case is dismissed against those who brought the suit?
Well, when you say claw back to me means that we would claw back benefits from those who are within our plan. And
no, sir, I'm meaning more about cost of the pension board to defend a lawsuit.
If we're talking about whether it was a frivolous claim, so if someone made a frivolous claim, you would have to move the court, one, that it was frivolous, and that then we'd be allowed to recover our fees. That is, while many of those motions have been filed over the years, I've filed some of those as well. When I represented Knox County, we had lots of cases that were brought by a single attorney against the county, and they're almost uniformly denied. There is usually at least something in each case, that makes that case non-frivolous, which it almost has to be in order to recoup fees from the other side. Our legal system really isn't set up that way. It might be abroad, but it's not in the United States.
Any more questions for John? So what I'm planning to do with the budget, I mean, just under John's recommendation, I think we do have enough estimated savings for now. I can keep tabs on this as we move closer to the end of the fiscal year to make sure that we have enough funds. If we think that if the trial starts back up and we think that there's going to be more additional costs, I will definitely inform the board if we do need to request more funds. Does that seem fair? So then the next item that I have on under my report is our plan summary. I also emailed to the board members that separately, just so you can see in a 2-page report on each plan and what the funds are, what the active participant counts, the retiree head counts, and so forth. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Jennifer. We'll move on to item number 9, report of investment committee. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. I'll be real brief. You can see beginning on page 25 of the packet, our DC reports, defined contribution plans. Also on page 34, our defined benefit plans. As you can see, the returns have been very good. We should have closed out the year very nicely. We'll wait for our Val report from Mr. Cross, and I'm not sure how to explain this, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Cross.
Well, thank you. So Randy's correct. We had some great returns. If we look at the closed defined benefit plan, you can see the contributions made to start, the distributions goes to retirees, total fees fairly minimal, very minimal, total deductions then, and then the investment earnings. So all in all, we've had a really, really good year. Very grateful for that, of course, in a lot of ways. I might just mention, for example, UOP. We've had another good month there. They're up, let's see, about 12, $14 million just since this was prepared. So continue to do well. We made a recommendation some months ago to move in anticipation of a rotation out of large cap growth stocks into value and international emerging markets. We diversified the portfolio to take into account some alternative type investments, and those have all fortunately ended up being productive moves for the different types of pension funds. So all good at this point.
It's all very good and very scary at the same time.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Chris. If unless Bob has more, we'll give it back to you.
Bob, anything else?
No, sir.
Questions for Bob or Randy? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 10, report of legal counsel. John, you have anything else?
I have nothing further, but glad to address any questions anyone might have.
Any other questions for John? Seeing none, we'll go on to Bill. Bill, you have anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to report.
Thank you, Bill. Any questions for Bill? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 11, report of actuary Bob Cross. Bob, do you have anything else for us?
No, sir. Thank you.
One last time, questions for Bob?
I do. I was going to hope that we have on our agenda that you are going to give a report on the website with USI.
Jennifer, thank you. Brenda, would you want to go through that?
Sure. So back in November, we had let everyone know at the meeting that we're doing a transition to an enhanced platform that will be with Schwab, and that is going to transition beginning February the 5th. The website will be available to all participants throughout the transition. However, there just won't be any transactions taking place on that one day, the 5th, which is a Friday. And when you log back in on Monday, February the 8th, you'll be able to see the new enhanced platform. Communications are going out today, actually, to all actives as well as to any term vested participants, so they'll be aware of the change and how to log in and look at the new site. Are there any questions for anyone?
Yeah, I might just add, USI Consulting Group's completed several acquisitions over the last couple of years. We had an acquisition in Seattle. We had one on Long Island, and another one, the Finley Group that I referenced previously. All three of those groups, and the Finley Group's been in the works for almost 9 months. All three of those were using the Schwab platform or operating system. So really, it just made sense to move in the direction of having one common operating system across all of the entities within the consulting group. So I agree with Brenda that there are going to be enhancements associated with this, particularly on the app that goes with the program, and then consolidation of services as well. So the variety of reasons. But we're very excited. Very excited about this. Excuse me, I apologize about the transition.
So just one thing I want to clarify, in when Brenda had talked about the transactions, I just want to make it clear that no trades will be accepted on the website on Friday, February the 5th. So that's really for actives, the transactions that she's speaking to. And then also for if anybody is terminated, they wouldn't be able to initiate a distribution request as well. Luckily it's one business day. The transition is going to happen over the weekend, and we'll be back up on Monday. And I have the communications that USI has given me to share. I wanted to have the board meeting first. And so not to pinpoint our IT department to send out that mass email, I will send that out in the morning of tomorrow.
So Jennifer, if I may,
Yeah.
we negotiated fiercely with Wells Fargo and with Schwab because we were concerned about having a significant period, a down period. Ordinarily, something like this could take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. So we're thrilled, and thank you for those words. We're thrilled that we were able to limit this to just one day where an individual would not be able to access the system. So,
Any other questions for Bob? Seeing none, move on to item number 12, approval for payment, the statement of accounts. Is there a motion?
There was a question from Commissioner Smith before you moved on.
Mr. Smith, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Larson. Bob, this is probably a non-needed question, but from a risk management standpoint, I assume that the security on the new website will be as good, if not better, than the previous security provided with the old website.
great question, and it will be superior security.
Thank you.
That's a real concern universally at this point, so we're very mindful of that, and that's a really good question, Stellar.
Anything else? Seeing none, item number 12, approval for payment. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second it.
Any discussion? Jennifer, call the roll.
Mr. Codwell,
Aye.
Commissioner Bussler,
Aye.
Commissioner Jay,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Ward,
Aye.
Ms. Hemmelgarn. I think she dropped. And then Mr. Mullinax,
Aye.
Ms. Samar.
Aye.
And that's a majority vote, and that motion passes.
Item number 13 is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Adjourned. You all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.